Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and had a subscriber link from me earlier tonight. This old letter from the FDA back from last year. I'll link it down below, and let's talk about it for a minute. So I'm going to put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing. Let's do a little bit of crafting, and yeah, let's talk about the ethics of the whole supplement industry, because we had this whole situation back with DMAA, which is everyone's favorite pre-workout. And people wonder why, I harp on pre-workout. This one, people still love. People still try to get it everywhere. They still think it's awesome, even though it's been linked to liver damage. And all the companies that were still kicking it out in 2015, the FDA jumped all over them and seized their assets because it was known by researchers and doctors to be a dangerous supplement that caused hepatitis and liver damage. All right, this drug in there, because that's what it is, it's a drug, is known by medical doctors to cause liver damage. How many of these companies were putting it in their products anyways? A dozen of them? And that's the thing. How many of these companies even give a single fuck if the products they make kill you? Not one, because if all of you fuckers buying this stuff drop dead, 4 years from now, there'll be a whole generation of 18 and 20-year-olds ready to buy their products again. You're all expendable. Fuck you. That's how they feel. They don't care if you die. There's going to be a whole other generation of guys right behind you as soon as you guys figure out the supplement game that are going to keep buying this garbage, and they don't give a single fuck if they destroy your liver, destroy your testicles, whatever else. It doesn't make a fuck to them after they make their $20 million. You're expendable. Again, next generation of young guys are going to come along and buy the same next batch of toxic garbage, and they're not going to give a fuck about their livers or their testicles or anything else either. Welcome to the ethics of the supplement industry. Again, the DMAA is a perfect example. Do you know why? Because these guys don't even bother to try to find out if any of this stuff is safe before they crank it out. Think about that. Everyone talks about big pharma and how dangerous the pharmaceutical industry is and how many people it kills, and it's a lot. But do you know what? The FDA actually requires them to do long-term studies to assess how dangerous these drugs are before they put them out on the market. They have to spend millions of dollars in research to even release a new product. If the supplement industry was held to the same standards they hold big pharma to, you would never see a new supplement for the rest of your lives. Do you know why? Because the supplement industry is not going to pay $5 million and spend 3 years researching the safety of a product. They just throw shit in a tub and sell it until it's found to be dangerous and they're forced to remove it. That's how they work. When they're finally told this is dangerous, you have to remove it. They quit putting the garbage in the product. They don't do any research to find out because the law doesn't require them to. They have no requirement to do so. So you're basically, every time you buy a new supplement that comes out, you're buying untested garbage that you don't know if it's going to fucking kill you next week if you take it or not. And the companies that make it, they don't care. And they've proven it over and over and over. Because again, how many of them wait till it's banned to pull it? As soon as they find out stuff's dangerous, sometimes they don't even pull it then. They wait till the government issues a ban, and then half the time they keep putting the stuff in the products and just pay the fines, the $1 million fine, and put it in for another 3 months to sell their inventory. They don't care. They make more money off selling that remaining inventory, sometimes of the illegal banned substance, than they're going to be fined by the FDA, so they don't really care. Their stockholders are happy. Think about it. That's what you're dealing with in the supplement industry. They're in it to make money like any other business. And because the FDA doesn't regulate the supplement industry as heavily as it does drugs, they put whatever garbage they want in there and just pay the fines. Read the news stories on it. It's been done over and over and over. And again, it doesn't matter that I'm telling you guys because you're mostly wise to it. The next generation of young dumbasses is going to go buy the stuff anyways. They're going to buy the same toxic garbage when they put it back in there. And that's the other thing, too. Look how many of these companies have been caught putting stuff in their drugs and their products that aren't even on the label. How many companies have been caught? Now, think about it. This is just the ones that have been caught. How many haven't been caught? A dozen companies, supplement companies, have been caught putting meth analogs, anabolic steroids, everything else that were felony-level drugs to put in those products, putting them in there anyways. Why? Because they work. People get all wired up and lose body fat on meth. People gain muscle on steroids. This stuff actually works, and that they put trace amounts of this stuff they're purchasing bulk and drop it in their supplements. At least people get an effect. And then after people have run it for 3 months, then they quit putting the stuff in there. Once it's got a reputation for working, then they keep charging you the same $50 to $80 a bottle for a bunch of garbage that doesn't have methamphetamine or steroids in it. And hopefully they do it usually before the FDA catches on and finds them, and they get the whole inventory cleared out, and then you guys are getting all this stuff without knowing that's what you're getting, but it has an effect, and then it gets a good reputation. Then they sell the product for another 6 to 9 months, and once its reputation declines, they crank out a new product. That's how these companies operate. And more people need to tell everyone about how useless all this garbage is, and sometimes how dangerous it is. And you know what? Think about this. Even Mark Lobliner had admitted in a video, and he said, well, what do you want me to do? People ask for the products. He said in a video, I sell test boosters. I know test boosters don't work. I tell people not to take them. I carry a dozen different test boosters. Do you know why? Because I get letters every day from people saying they want to buy them. And as a businessman, if I publicly state that a product doesn't work, I don't recommend you take it, but if someone still wants to buy it from me, I'm going to sell it to them. So therefore, that is his excuse for carrying products that he publicly admits don't actually work. Now think about that. Now you could argue, well, he is being a good businessman because people demand it, but that's a cop-out too, because think about it. How many people are really demanding it? 5 people, 10 people, 30 people, 100? Well, what if 1,000 buy the product from him because 50 or 100 demanded it? That other 900 people got fucked. They weren't demanding it. They saw it on his thing and they buy from him regularly. So they just bought it, assuming because he carries it, it must work. Maybe they didn't see his video, the one video he makes a year where he says, test boosters don't work. They don't do shit. I know this. They're worthless. But he still sells them using the excuse that people demand it. And he's making a pretty good little chunk of change off products that he publicly admits don't even work. And everybody knows that. Anyone who's done basic research knows test boosters don't work. They've never worked. They will probably never develop one that does work, because if they do develop one that works, the FDA is going to crack down on it so hard that you're not going to be able to get it again in 6 months anyways. It's going to become a felony level drug to possess, because anything that boosts testosterone significantly is called a prescription drug generally. They're going to slap a prescription on it for you to be able to buy it, or to use it, or to possess it, because it actually works. That's the key to the whole industry. If something has been out on the market for a year and the FDA hasn't come in and made it into a prescription drug, that's your sign it doesn't do anything. That's the dead giveaway, because any substance that is proven to have an anabolic effect, which means it helps build muscle, or has a proven anabolic effect of burning body fat that isn't a normal food substance like coffee. That's why we can get coffee. We know coffee burns body fat a little bit, but it's a normal food that people have been consuming for hundreds and thousands of years. So because of that, they're not going to make it into a drug all of a sudden, but it is a drug. But anything else besides that that's proven to burn fat, guess what happens? It gets a prescription slapped on it, because it is now a drug with a drug-like effect. And that's something people need to realize. There's all these products that are out there. Well, this has been out 3 years, and you know it doesn't boost testosterone. If it did, they would have put a prescription on it 2 years ago. Most of these products don't work. And the industry, again, as you're seeing over and over and over, again, the DMAA was just another example. They know it causes damage and hurts you. Companies put it out not knowing necessarily, but they didn't care. And then when they found out, tons of those companies continued to sell the product. The FDA busted 2 companies for continuing to sell the products. They went and seized their assets and everything. If you read the memo, the letter the FDA put out, because it had been banned, and they just continued to sell it anyways, knowing it was hepatotoxic, knowing it could cause hepatitis and liver damage. And it had been banned, it was made illegal, but they still had an inventory to move, so they sold it anyways. Why? Because these companies don't give a single fuck if they kill you. In a couple years, you're going to be too old to be buying their products anyway, so who gives a fuck, right? Your life doesn't mean anything. Fuck you. That's what you're dealing with in these industry. And so you've got all these YouTubers and all these models and bodybuilders who then promote these products. They're accomplices. They're promoting people selling you products that either don't work or might kill you. And you know what? Since they're getting kickbacks from the companies to do it, they don't give a fuck either. Why? Because that extra $1,000 a month is worth more than your life. Fuck you and your little insignificant life. That's $1,000 in their pocket. Who gives a fuck about you? Stop and think about that for a minute. That's what you're dealing with. Think about every person who you get advice from, your heroes, who push and promote all these products. And you're going to tell me they have your best interest in mind? Everyone who's pushed all these stimulants, everyone who pushed DMAA, everyone who pushed BioGrow. Do you honestly think any of them had your best interest in mind, or did they get paid to do that? You know why? Because at the end of the day, them getting an extra money from these supplement companies is worth more than you getting fucked over. Because again, you don't matter. Fuck you. That's exactly what they're saying. Stop and think about that for a little while. When you continue to buy these certain products, you continue to support these people who push these products. Think about that for a minute. Do they really and truly give a fuck about you? I'll let you think on that one for yourself. This is a dirty, dirty industry. Not the dirtiest I've seen, but it's definitely up there. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.